What's up YouTube, back at it again with another video. This time I'll be reviewing my 328i. I'll be going over my impressions of the car, interior, exterior, engine, things I've done to the car, how it drives, how it feels, and afterwards I'm gonna take you for a point of view driving experience. Let's start off with the engine. So this car, being a 2009, it came with an N51 Sulev engine, which is a 3-liter inline 6. It revs to 7,000 RPM and is rated at 230 horsepower and 200 pound-feet of torque. These are the standard brakes on the 328i. 4-wheel disc brakes. Really good ABS traction control system. My car came with the Schwartz tube paint, still in good condition. It being a 2009, it is a LCI, which means you had LED rear lights, a different trunk, I believe wider arches, and the LCI was just a facelifted version of the 2006-2008 E90s. They call it the Lifecycle Impulse. Coming onto the front, 328i's came with halogen front headlights with angel eye rings, halo rings if you want to call them that. They are yellow, but usually people switch them out to become white. This is a rear-wheel drive model, and those of you that don't know, this is the way to go if you're going to get a BMW. It weighs around 3,300 pounds or 400 pounds. You could double check that if you guys want. It's not that light, but it's also not that heavy by today's car standards. And what I've done to it was Apex wheels, 17x9, 255/40 Hankook RS4s. Still good after 3,000 miles of hard driving. My exhaust is an Icon Motorsport RE exhaust. Muffler's pretty big, it's almost stock size. And I got this bumper I'd say 4 years ago. At that time I thought it looked good. It still looks good now. It is an M3 replica bumper. I really liked it because it had the vents right here and you could see all the way inside. You can even see the muffler. And I believe that I remember Honda guys used to poke holes, not poke holes, but they would deliberately put holes in the rear bumpers, or sometimes even take off the rear bumpers, maybe even slice in half, because the rear bumper catches a lot of air. So I thought this would be a little performance upgrade, having a nice big gaping hole or a little gap in my bumper so the air comes out. I don't know if it does anything. These are the stock brake pads and stock brakes once again. And alright, so this might be a little too high for you guys, but I think it sits perfectly. It's not low. It's not low to the point where I'm scraping everywhere or even touching parking blocks, but it's really good clearance for everyday driving. Performance driving, it's perfect too. I don't mind this height. It's ride height, because sometimes when I see a railroad track, I like to go super fast, redline any gear I'm at, and jump over the railroad tracks. This comes with the sunroof. The Schwartz 2 is 11 years, no, it's 12 years old now, and still in good condition, as you can see. This car does need a wash though. Let's go on to the interior. Let's go over the infotainment system. This is the iDrive, and on the LCI models, they updated the iDrive to this version. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buttons, and this little knob is still the same from the old E90s. So what you get is it's a newer version that it's more crisp, easier to use, and the navigation's way much more better. You can do cool stuff like check out traffic, see where's traffic, pretty similar. Vehicle info, vehicle status, see if your tires are inflated. Put a pre-LCI E90 for the display still. Check your oil level. For oil level, these came with the e-dipstick, so there's no dipstick on the engine. And the way to check your oil is, well, you just had to warm up the engine, drive it around for I believe 3 to 5 minutes. It states it on the manual, and you'll get a proper reading. And if this is at minimum, that means you only need to add 1 quart. If it's in between minimum and max, don't even add any oil, you're fine. Check if there's any service required. My engine oil was done. Huh? It was done already. It was done 4 months ago. I don't know why it's popping up again. Here you go. This displays 143,000 miles. My MPG is crap. Drive this car a little too hard sometimes. Steptronic. Minus and plus are in the proper direction. So this comes with leatherette seats, manual seats, which helps out. I really don't like electronic seats that much. This gets the job done. If you need to adjust it, it's really fast, pretty easy. Other than that, it's pretty nice. Cup holders are right here. I like the cup holder design of this car. It's not bad. And I would say that on the newer BMWs or the F30, they come right here. It's just cleaner to have the cup holders there. And I don't really drink while I'm driving that much. The new Porsches also have the cup holders in this area also. And they slide right out. Same design as the E90. This comes with the hi-fi speaker system. So there's no speaker in the middle right here. It's just a tweeter, those guys. And my car has upgraded bath sound. There is a sub under the seats. Stock on all E90s. Your subs are under your seat, which is, I think, perfect placement for a sub. My steering wheel's seen better days, of course, but still works. Feels like an old shoe. Very comfortable. And the start-stop buttons are really easy to replace. I have a blue one. These are really sexy. I already know that the pre-LCIs come with a bigger aluminum trim, and for LCIs, it has a little black plasticky thingy that I just ended up scratching off because it just got too scuffed up. Checking out the rear seats. These are the rear seats of the E90. An adult could pretty much fit in the back comfortably. I'm 5'10", 5'11", and this is my driver's seat adjusted to my specific height. And there's a lot of leg room. See, 1 fist of knee room. Not bad. Pretty comfortable. I could stay here for a long road trip. I have the burl walnut trim, wood trim. Still in excellent condition. The rear is kind of dusty because no one ever comes here, I think, ever. But yeah, This is the interior of the E90 LCI. Pretty neat if you ask me. These trims can also come in aluminum, I believe a lighter wood trim, and carbon fiber suede, or the performance carbon fiber trim. The 335 IS comes with a hex aluminum trim that mimics carbon fiber, and it has a 335 IS badge right there. On models that have the Comfort Access package, there will be no slot for the key fob. You can just start the engine. I do not have Comfort Access. Manual seats once again. Pretty tight. Yeah. Well, these are easy to replace, but they'll start showing wear and tear if you park it outside, or even as they age. I don't park my car outside, but this car has been not that used, especially the rear seats, but I guess these just go bad after a while. The front's already replaced. It's funny how this one, absolutely no sign of wear. Maybe because people open that door more. Coming onto the trunk. There's a lot of space. You can put a lot of luggages in here. No spare tires because BMW designed this car to be with the run flat tire system, which means all four wheels have run flats, and if you do get a puncture or a flat, you can still drive this car 50 miles per hour and less to the closest BMW dealership. For me, I have AAA, so that's not needed. And run flats are pretty harsh. I don't have fold down rear seats. And from what I've heard, not having fold down rear seats actually is a benefit, because there's a steel bar and a steel plate, so it's better rigidity and aids in the handling of the car. I don't really go skiing, so yeah, there's no need to put a ski or any golf bags in my car, so no need for fold down rear seats. The battery placement is in here. There are tools under this little thing. Perfect location for a battery in my opinion. It does not need to be in the front. This is a nice cozy place for it. And the battery's heavy, so I wouldn't mind having it in the rear. A lot of cars actually relocate their battery to the rear. Cars that aren't BMWs, or some BMWs that have batteries in the front. This is the trunk. All right, let's go for a drive in the E90 328i. Second thought before we go for a drive, let's check out the engine. All right, 3-liter inline 6, nice intake manifold, pretty thick intake runners. So on these cars, before you buy them, always check for oil leaks here, in there, that silver gasket right there. And for power steering fluid, it always seeps oil. That's just how the design is, I guess. It always does that. It's not a big problem, but as you can tell, it drops on the hoses sometimes. I might just need to wipe that down. There are two filters on this car. The air filter for the engine and the one under the cowl. This is for the cabin air filter. Coolant reservoir right there. This being a SULEV, you can see a secondary air pump or air system right here, which is cool. And 51 for the win. These engines come with the 3-stage intake manifold, which is a plus because people that like to play around or tune with the engine, this will add a lot of power. I have a F30 oil engine cap because the other one was getting old. Pretty cool. All the belts right here. So for the gaskets on the oil filter housing gaskets, you do not want to let this get too, you don't want the oil to seep too much, or for the gasket to be completely messed up and oil leaks all over the place, because it's going to fall on the belts, and if it falls on the belt, that could be a serious problem. Pretty straightforward engine design. Sits right on top of the rear axle, maybe a little bit back. I think it's a really good setup. They don't really make engines like this anymore for regular 3 Series. Just a high revving inline 6. So yeah. All right. So we're gonna be driving over some bumpy ass roads. Feel the suspension. Now this car is relatively stiff compared to other cars, especially if you're coming from a Honda or Toyota. Maybe a Honda is just as stiff, but this is no Lexus. This is a BMW. You just don't have this one doesn't have a backup camera, but you can find E90s with backup cameras. A lot of 328i's are packaged with that option. This one doesn't, which I don't mind. It's not a big car. Really, really smooth. All I hear is my RS4s, which are pretty noisy. 212 wear tires. Going over manholes and tiny little cracks, you really do feel everything on the road. This has hydraulic steering, which is my favorite parts of this car. There's not much rattles in the car. If anything, there's none. The transmission's really good too. It doesn't hunt for gears. It just stays in the proper gear wherever you're at. For everyday use, I'm telling you, this is a really good car. I love E90s. I wouldn't find myself in another car to drive around town, to go on the highway with, to go on a road trip with. It's just really nice. The hydraulic steering is the highlight of this car. You just get so much road feel, and the steering feels very, very unassisted. It's very raw. It's just overall a nice package. Now the Steptronic, you could change gears in the proper way. Minus downshifting is up, upshift is down, which I like. It just goes with the G-forces, you know, when you're braking, you drop a gear. It's just fairly fast too. .230 horsepower is more than enough power to get you out of trouble, especially on the street. On the highway, when this is cruising, ooh, 80 to 100, 80 to 120 is really seamless. There's traction control. You can turn all the way off if you want. The driving position of this car is really nice. Because this has iDrive, those 2 humps, I feel like I'm very inside the car. I feel really cozy and insulated in the car. And it's a greenhouse, you know? This isn't a coupe. This is an E90, not E92, so there's so much space just visibility to see outside. This car has more than enough power for everyday use. Even on bumpy roads, I feel like this car really likes it when you go faster. Because of at speed you don't really feel it harsh. It's more harsher when you're going slow, actually. Just a nice car to have every day. BMW did a really good job with this car. This is the last 3 series that you can get with the naturally aspirated motor. They have gone to turbocharging, which is not a bad thing, but you can't just go wrong. You can't go wrong with BMW's inline 6. Guess I'm getting 100 mpg. And in the city, it's very, it's just really smooth. You can glide past traffic while you're sitting in traffic. It's a nice place to be. The cabin's very comfortable, easy on the eye. Nothing too busy. The dash is really simple. Everything's laid out the way it should be. Bluetooth is really nice. This car comes with Bluetooth. If you get iDrive, even if you don't get the iDrive, these car comes with Bluetooth. And also, when you're talking on the phone, a lot of car manufacturers, once you shut off the engine, the Bluetooth drops, and you kind of pretty much hung up on that person. But with this car, while you're talking on the phone, if you park somewhere and turn off the engine, the Bluetooth still goes on, even when you open the doors, until you shut off the engine. I mean, no, not shut off the engine, until you shut off the ignition and press the start stop button, then it'll shut off completely, or when you lock the car doors, which is pretty nice. I really can't find a better daily than this car. It's really good on gas. The power's very potent. 7,000 RPMs, 230 horsepower, very potent. I think I feel all of 230 horsepower. 230 crank horsepower, that is. Brakes are really smooth. I mean, I use OEM pads and rotors, that's why. People that use other pads and rotors, they might feel that there's less bite or there's a noise, like a screeching noise. But yeah, I have RBS 600 brake fluid by Motul, and that's just a higher performing .4 fluid. That's all for today, guys. Catch you later.